Da, 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 da. Did I just stop playing the shore because it was annoying? Definitely no. Totally not. It was more really annoying and I didn't want to play anymore. So I just decided not to. So instead we will be ranking Dark Souls 2 bosses and stuff. Not only bosses, also other things like I don't know, enemies. Who cares? I will probably rate it like. Let's first make sure that it's like. I think having three parameters is good. The first one is just fun. Like, how fun is the boss to fight? The second one, I would say, is the lore. How good is the lore of the boss? Is it decent? Is it bad? Is it fun? And the third is the run up. If a boss is cool, but has a really horrifically bad run up, then I will just not. So this is just fuck yourself. Uh, let's call this awesome. Then we have pretty good. We have okay. Below. No. Hmm. Then we just have really passes as boss. And then we just have, I don't know, above average. I think that is a good ranking. Good way to rank it, right? Probably. Blah, 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 blah. I should probably edit the content to Dark Souls 2. Done. So, yeah, we start with this. And yes, where do I see created this? I didn't create it. The credit doesn't go to me, obviously. It's just called this. I don't know where you see who created it, but credit goes out to the person who did this. Maybe it's this one. If it is, thank you for creating this. I will be using it. Well, then let's start. Ava. Well, he has a long boss run up, but there is no enemies in it. And the boss itself, I don't know. He's very hated in the community for some fucking reason. I think he's fine. Mostly, he's like not terrible. He's not amazing. He has a few annoying hitboxes, but overall, I would actually say he's probably above average. I was also the idea of like needing to go through the area to get an item so that you can see him. It's actually, I like it. But I don't know. I don't think the boss is too fun. You know, it's like once you know like the two moves it has, it's fine. Oldia, we can just put it there and call it a day. I will still explain why. Yes, Oldia has a really good, carefully crafted lore, but he jump scares you through the entire fucking game and annoys the shit out of you. Also, his boss fight is just downright trash. He just teleports around and summons some fucking fire pillars and sometimes shoots a fucking planet at you that one-shots you. And that's pretty much it. He doesn't do much more. He only has like 4 moves. So it doesn't really count as a boss. It's sure He doesn't have too many annoying moves where I'm like, go fuck yourself, but it's not a good boss. It really isn't. Solon, I like him. He's pretty good. The only thing that I hate about him is his boss run up. So I would say he's pretty good, as I said before, but he doesn't belong into awesome. Because yes, while he has a really good move set and few secrets, like if you don't get hit, he kills himself and stuff. That's pretty amazing. But, and this is a really big but, like mine, his run up is like one of the worst in the entire fucking game, and it's just really annoying. So I can't give him the awesome sauce. I can just put him into pretty good because the boss is fun. The lore is good, but like, come on, the run up's just why. Executioner's Chariot or Executioner Chariot. It's actually a hard one to rank. The boss run up is pretty fucking annoying, and the boss itself is kind of not really a boss and more like a level. That said, the idea is actually pretty good, and I would put him into okay. Because there's some creative ideas. Lore-wise, I don't know. The lore is pretty basic. I think the reason it's okay for me and not like trash or above average is because like the run-up is really annoying, but the boss itself is kind of fine. You just kind of you can roll it. Like, you can iframe it. Other than the fucking chariot sort of Elden Ring, which you can't fucking roll. Oh yeah, after this we can rank every fucking Elden Ring boss. Covetous Demon. Go fuck yourself. It's not a boss. It's a blob. It's Jabba the Hutt. Nothing more to say really. It's not a boss, you know. It's not hard. It's just boring. One of the worst bosses in the game. Dark Lurker. This is a hard one. The boss itself is pretty cool. He has a decently sized moveset, and he's slow enough so that if he splits, they don't really overlap in a way where you get annoyed by it. But his run-up is kind of just trash. Like, you have to go to unlock his run-up. You have to go through like the 3 chasms of the abyss. And then after you have gone through this torture, you still have to complete one each time you want to challenge him. And on top of that, you have to use a humanity to challenge him, which is just annoying. That said, he's kind of fun. And I like the secretive aspect of not being able to find him easily. But I just can't give him an awesome. Just can't. Run-up is too annoying. Like, if I want to fight him, I have to go through all of that shit. And that just makes me not want to fight him. Old Dragon Slayer. Well, I will probably annoy a lot of fanboys here. But I can just only give him an okay. The creativity is pretty bad, and the lore is just he likes Orenstein. And he's old. He doesn't have a particularly amazing moveset in his run-up. It's kind of annoying the first time around because of the dragon. So I can't really... He's not above average, at least like... average at best. It's terrible. But I usually just fight him not for the fun of it, just because I need access to like blue... I forgot the name. Blue Cathedral of the Blue, right? Ancient Dragon. Go fuck yourself. I hate that boss. Way too fucking tanky. And just one-shots you. Why? Also, his run-up is like terrible. It's shitty in the Scholar of the First Sin version, and it's really shitty in the original. For those who don't know, in the original, there's not you don't have to challenge the knights. But basically, what is in the original, there's fewer of these dragon warriors, but they are all aggro by default. Like, you don't have to do the weird challenges or like duels, you just have to kill them or run past them, which is just really annoying and not a lot of fun. I believe the fight at the end is the same in the original, but if you run past everything else, they will all aggro you. Yeah, fun. You know, just a lot of fun. Dragon Rider barely counts as a boss. Since there's two instances, we probably have to look at both of them, right? Or is there... Ah, okay, we have Twin Dragon Rider. Yeah, he just kind of falls off the platform and dies. It's not really a boss. Also, you can like kill him from outside. I don't know. He has a decently sized moveset, I think. Never really seen it. Because the Twin Dragon Riders usually aren't alive long enough, and this one just kind of falls to his death. Ilana, the Squalid Queen. I think she's above average. The run-up is fine if you get the secret, like the secretive bonfire. And the fight is kind of fun. It's more like a running simulator than a fight, to be fair, since she just shoots her black magic bullshit at you and then gets annoyed. And she can summon skeletons and stuff. Where she becomes like closer to go fuck yourself or really annoying is when she summons Velstead. But overall, I think the idea of summoning Velstad or skeletons and stuff is pretty cool. And I think she gives you a decent challenge if you are not well equipped for the boss. Duke's Dear Freya. Duke's Dear Freya. I don't know where to put her. If I have to like rank it purely by how I feel about her, it's probably like this. The thing is like, it's probably more like, okay, she's not terrible, but like, if you use a torch, you can just run around her and hit her head. It's basically just fucking Beyblade. And that's the boss fight. That's it. So, nothing more to say really. I guess you can annoy people by using what's it called? Warmth. Yeah, warmth. If you use warmth, you can heal her, and if the heads fall off, then she can't be killed anymore. So that's a funny prank you can do on your friends. Other than that, I don't know. Boring boss. Fuel Knight. By far, probably one of my favorite bosses in the entire game. So he definitely deserves awesome. Simply, his boss run-up is really, really short. And if you have the 4 smelter wedges, which if you don't have them, that's not the fault of the boss, to be fair, or the run-up. He's just fair, in my opinion. He's the first boss to roll catch you, I believe, in the series, and he's just a lot of fun to fight. I don't know, I love fighting him. And the run-up, as I said, it's decent, it's nice. It's short, it's simple, there's 2 enemies, you can ignore them. Yeah. I like it. Belfry Gargoyles. I think we can all agree when I say just go fuck yourself. The boss itself, like one of them is fine, but just putting 6 of them is just annoying. Also, they're relatively resistant to like anything but blunt damage, basically. They're resistant to lightning, to magic, to slash, to pierce, to basically everything. So that just makes them even more fucking tanky. And yeah, I believe they deserve the ranking. I think go fuck yourself. The Giant Lord. Well, the thing is, Giant Lord is basically just the last giant with a sword. And that's also exactly how you fight him. You just kind of do the same thing as you do with the last giant, just way later in the game, where you have probably already learned how to walk in between people's legs. And yes, Please listen to this without context. So I still have to say he's okay, since he's not really a reskin, and he has enough like sort of moves to catch you off guard. Also, his boss run up is really not that annoying. You can just ignore everything. And his lore makes sense as well. It's like the year. I don't know. He's okay. He's not above average, but he's also not below. He's okay. Guardian Dragon. Um, Guardian Dragon is more of like doesn't really count as a boss in my opinion. Guardian Dragon is just a normal enemy that is literally encountered in the area after you fight him. And you fight one of these ass clowns way earlier in the game. So that's not really a boss, it's just a normal enemy with a fucking health bar of a boss. Also, on top of that, he tends to like fly around for 10 hours, which is really fucking annoying. So yeah, it's another reason why I don't particularly like this boss. The Royal Red Authority. Authority is the big one, right? I believe so. Just go fuck yourself. If you manage to kill the small dogs before he aggroes you, the boss is just a cakewalk. And if you like fucking don't, then you will just either be toxic or just downright die because you got petrified. Ah, thanks. So yeah, it's just no, go away, don't like you. Skeleton Lords. I like the idea. The boss run-up can be kind of annoying. But then again, dying to that boss is kind of unlikely. Since the small skeletons are nerfed to the point where they almost do no damage. And yeah. I can see why new players have an issue with them, but for me they're more like spam. But I still like the idea. I think they get points for the idea, but I can't do more than that, you know? Hard negotiation, I know. The Last Giant. Well, keeping in mind that he's one of the first bosses, you know? Like, he's probably the first boss people are going to encounter besides the Pursuer. And keeping that in mind, I would actually say he's a decent boss. So he's okay for the place where you fight him. Overall, I would probably put him more into like barely counts as a boss, but I would say that keeping in mind where you encounter him and the lore and stuff surrounding him, plus that his boss run-up is literally just climbing down the ladder and taking an elevator, he probably deserves a spot where he's decent, not too bad, not too terrible. He's fine. Prowling Magus. I think there's an N missing. Amogus. I don't know, it's just normal. It's just a room full of basic enemies. That's it. It's more of a go fuck yourself. Or barely counts as a boss, I guess. I don't know. This is mostly just my trash category where I put quote-unquote bosses that aren't really bosses and more like enemies with a boss health bar. Because you fight a Dragon Rider as a normal enemy. The only thing you don't fight as a normal enemy is Aldia. But Aldia has probably like the amount of moves of a normal enemy. So that is my justification. The Mirror Knight. I actually like the Mirror Knight. I would actually say he's probably like above average. The arena where you fight him is pretty cool. His boss run-up is slightly longer than most, I believe. But you can run past all of the enemies without being staggered out of any animation if you are, like, if you know what you're doing. And he has a really cool moveset. Also, the idea of like summoning a player and stuff is pretty nice. So I would actually say he deserves a spot at above average. He isn't quite the level of like Sirloin or Dark Lurker, in my opinion, but he's still pretty good. I still like him. Peter. Had to yawn there. Apologies. She's alright. She's not above average. If you don't drain the poison, she will probably murder you. But oh yeah, right. Nashka exists. Well, the thing is, she actually has a pretty decent moveset, and her lore is... I don't actually know what her lore is. But that's kind of it. I mean, the boss run-up is also fine. But yeah, I mean, I would just put her into okay, because that's what she is. She's okay. And the Chandra, I don't know, probably more like doesn't really count as a boss. Because Nashandra could be a cool boss in the very early game because she doesn't have that many moves and stuff. But fighting her at the point where you fight her is kind of embarrassing. Because you only get hit if you get greedy, and that's it. Her moves are slow, and she has a lot of HP. And she does a lot of damage, which is just tweaking numbers. You know, like if you gave her less damage and less HP, you could put her as an early game boss. The reason she's a late game boss is not because she has a good moveset or because she has other cool stuff. It's mainly just because they just gave her a lot of damage and call it a day. You know, like balancing purely by numbers is always kind of a lazy thing to do. Old Iron King. I don't know. It's actually not him that is the boss, it's the fucking hole in the arena. I probably died more to the hole than to him. Usually I just fall off the map and that's me dying. Other than that, I don't really die to that boss, I believe. So he's clearly awesome. No, he's not. He's like... He isn't the boss. Can I add a new category? Yeah, I can. Let's call that... the arena is the true boss, and we can just put Old Iron King in there. Old Iron King isn't the boss. It's the arena. Ivory King. I like Ivory King. I think he deserves like an awesome. The way, like, usually I'm not a fan of ganks, and ganks can be really fucking annoying. But I believe this is a gank really well made, because you have allies that fight alongside of you, and they slowly stop the enemies from spawning. So I actually think that Ivory King deserves the spot besides Thnak. Fighting Ivory King himself is not as cool as fighting Thnak in my opinion. Also because it takes like a long time to get there. But I still like him. I think he's pretty cool. Up to our next contender. Contester? Can't fucking talk. Pursuer. I like Pursuer. I believe Pursuer is a pretty good boss. That is only brought down by the fact that he's used a lot. And I'm like, fighting Pursuer in general is a lot of fun. But it kind of feels lazy sometimes. Sure, he's changed up to the point where it's not really a boss when you encounter him. He's just a boss once, really. But I would say that Pursuer is a pretty good boss in general. Like, he has a decently sized moveset and you can parry him, which makes playing around him a lot of fun. Like, his moves are decently fast, he has a good moveset, you can avoid him easily. He really is a lot of fun to fight. The Rob. The thing is, I like fighting the Rotten, which people who have looked at my channel for like 3 seconds probably already know that. I mostly like fighting the Rotten because he's easy. But not only that, but I don't know, he's funny to fight. He's this idea of the huge, big thing that does a lot of damage but is relatively slow. But well made. For example, Old Iron King is just a bad way to do it. But Rotten is a pretty decent way, and I don't know, he's not above average in most of what he does. Just fought him a lot more than most other bosses. But I would say he's alright. He's okay. He's decent. Royal Red Vanguard. Honestly, the arena is the true boss here as well. You don't really die unless you get stuck in some kind of corner. That's the only way you die. Like, you just get stuck in a corner and or forget that you're playing Dark Souls 2 because you have better things to do, and then you die. And that's the story of how you die to this boss. Or you do a weak challenge run where you do like 2 damage. That is obviously also something that happens. Ruin Sentinels. I mean, they're just another gank boss, right? And gank bosses are always not the most fun. But that said, I actually think Ruin Sentinels is one of the more fun gank bosses in this game. Because you start on a platform and they hop onto it after a while. So I would say since they are a relatively decently well-made boss in terms of like ganking compared to other gank bosses in this game, I would actually say they're slightly above average. They have a decent moveset and I don't know, they're kind of fun to fight. The Flexi Sentry, in my opinion, is barely a boss. Also because it's just a normal enemy in the game. At a similar point where you fight him as boss. Who designed this? I don't know. Sif, the Slumbering Dragon. I hate this boss. I mostly hate him because he has so much HP that your weapon fucking breaks, which is really fucking annoying. So, you piece of shit, you go to... I don't know, go fuck yourself. Because if he flies around and spews fucking poison everywhere, then it's not fun to fight, is it? No, it isn't. Okay, let's speedrun this. Lost Sinner, slightly above average. Just kidding. Okay. No, she's not barely above. She's not perfect. She's okay. In New Game Plus, she gets ads, which can be quite annoying, and she has a lot of range. If you have a torch, however, well, she becomes much easier, because most of the difficulty is just her jumping away, and your camera decides to not lock on anymore. Skeleton Lords, wait. Didn't we have them already? Yeah, we had them already. Let's put them here again, I guess. Smelter Demon. I would actually say Smelter Demon. There's only one Smelter Demon. There's actually 2 in the game. Where's the second one? I don't know. Okay, let's rank both of them at the same time. If you know how to fight Smelter Demon, you will die to Blue Smelter Demon. If you know how to fight Blue Smelter Demon, you will probably die to Smelter Demon. Unless you don't know the timing for both of them like me and you just dodge based on instinct. Both of them individually, I say, are above average because they have a good moveset, fun. But Blue Smelter probably goes to go fuck yourself just because of his fucking boss run, which is like the worst thing ever made. And the normal one probably also deserves a spot where I just say go fuck yourself, not because of the boss, but because of this shitty fucking boss run. Because both of them, if you are a first timer, you will probably fucking die and have to run back to them. So yeah, that's how I would rank him. Other than that, as a boss fight individually, he's probably like above average. I like the moves. Also, the fire is kind of fun. Demon of Song, I don't know, it's barely a boss. You just stand in front of him, roll left to right. Other than that, it's a frog that you stab to death. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I like the boss design, but it's not a good boss. The Twin Dragon Riders. I don't know where to even put them. It's basically just Dragon Rider again, but this time he doesn't suicide himself. So it's just the same thing as before, barely counts as a boss. Since the archer just dies in like 3 hits, and the normal one just kind of is a Dragon Rider, I guess. Velstad, I actually like Velstad. He's pretty good, even though you can put him into an AI loop where you just run away from him in the second phase, and he will always either do the pokey attack or the pew pew. So in both cases, they're not really that challenging. But hey, he's a good boss. Vendrick, well, to be fair, his boss run-up is actually kind of fine because you can just run past everything. That said, I can only give him a really like I can only give him like a barely or an okay. Because here's the thing. I usually don't collect all of the giant souls because I don't need to. So I do much less damage. This kind of makes him really fucking tanky, so I can't put him into barely count as a boss because I spent like 8 hours poking him to death. Also, I will say this. If you hug his right leg, he will never fucking hit you. If you don't, he will two-shot you. Or one-shot you. So, yeah, that's where I put him based on all of my runs, I guess. Throne Watcher and Throne Defender. Go fuck yourself. I hate that boss. Because it's a gank boss where you fight Ornstein and Ornstein. They're both exactly the same speed and can revive each other, which is probably like one of the more annoying things in the game. Also, the arena is fucking small, and if you run to the side, you fall off it and die. Which is also kind of fun. Not. So yeah, that is how I would rank them. I don't like fighting them. I find them quite fucking annoying. And yeah, this is my ranking of every Dark Souls 2 boss. Was about time to do that at some point, I believe. Also, it's fun rambling. It's always a good time. Now let's see. What do I do next? I don't know. I will probably be playing Moon Scars right after these messages. No, just kidding. There's no intervention. Just have to open it. And I should probably edit the stream.